Well, then tell us about your mentors, individuals that have played a big part in your life.
Hey guys, from my side, I think obviously let me just give a business side as well. Obviously, I think obviously Bjorn was obviously one of my mentors. So it's nice chatting now on this platform. Hey, for him obviously started coming back. Hey, he always challenged me and said, hey, this is what you need to do if you want to go in personal training. Obviously, he was abroad and all that. So obviously coming in that space, don't understand the whole scenario of how does it work in the environment. Obviously him guiding me and sitting down and putting extra effort in and just coming there and say, hey, not just an envy, because you always had that, and say, hey, when I want the best for you. So I love that attitude of him, not mentoring me and say, hey, keeping me behind and say, hey, you need to stay there because, or he said, hey, go for your dreams. And I think, hey, that was really, and I always go back to him and not just, and I always open and being teachable and say, hey, Bjorn, what must I do there? Sometimes he will chase me away, hey, go, there's last stuff or something like that. But he really guided me, and then he always checked up on me and said, hey, this is the goals. Hey, what are you doing? And keeping me accountable. And I was always reaching out to him and say, hey, Bjorn, what must I do here? And I would never like say, hey, on a pedestal and say, hey, no, I don't want to help anymore. Still, now I'm still looking up to him. Being 13 years in the industry and he's being now over 20 years already, I'm still going back to him and asking, man, what must I do here? So hey, that is from the business perspective. And now I've seen, but not just keeping that for myself, but I literally give that now to other people because he mentored me, and I can say, hey, this is what my mentor showed me 10 years, 15 years ago, and I can still do it. And if you apply it, but you see, people can give you advice, but if you don't apply, it's just a
Yeah,
waste. So I took that and said, hey, let me do it and try it. And by the end of the day, it works for me because I was actually say, hey, give me this. And now, because he has been successful, you see, so he has been all over the world with his fitness stuff. And I said, hey, I want to become like this guy. And I really looked up to him. And you know, I'm still looking up to him in every area of his life. So leading there where he is. And like obviously like you said now, discipleship. And you see, for me, being in the church, I think that is really the critical part. You see, putting God first and not just being there, but you have a leader above you who leads you, and that leader have a leader as well, you see, and like reaching out and say, hey, following up on you on a daily basis and say, hey, doing care calls or say, hey, what are you doing? What can we pray for you? And just leading that and getting that flow in your whole, in your marriage, your finances, raising up your family, of just meditating what you need to do. And like I think that is really a great foundation to build all our lives on. I'm saying, hey, putting God first, and then all the things will fall into place. But I know it's tough, but you need to get back to the basics of just being disciple. Yeah, so that is how I built my life in that regards, by business and doing God.
so that's very good, Audrin. Like I always say to people when it comes to mentoring, I often use you as an example because I say I've worked with many personal trainers over the years, and it's a privilege to mentor them. But I always say the most successful personal trainer I've ever mentored was you. And what made you unique wasn't your skills or your experience. Like you obviously know, like you studied personal training, and then there's other people that had a biokinetics qualifications, all kinds of titles, but you became probably the most successful trainer, and you went to Pretoria, and now you got your own free personal training studio. And even with that, like you'll still phone. I'll still ask you the 20 questions. But the one thing that always made you remarkable is the fact that you are teachable. And I think that is probably the most crucial thing, and it's always been the thing that anchored you, that you never walked without humility. Like you're always humble, you're always leaning in, and it was never like you were or are disqualifying yourself or that you maybe think maybe you're not good enough. Just your outlook on life is, hey, who can I speak to? Where can I get insight? So that has always been your I think one of your biggest strengths. So well done. But I think at one stage you must tell them a story about when you were carrying your engagement ring around for a long time, and I was going every day. You were scared to go talk to the uncle. I was on his case every day. I'm like, no, gotta go. Katie's waiting. She knows the drink is somewhere. You gotta go.
My wife
Every
is
day,
also on the
sweet.
live, dude. My wife is also
Yeah.